All right, thank you guys. Welcome to ACC Picks and Predictions for College Football Week 11. And of course, my name is Brock Page, and I really appreciate you joining me here today. So great to see you. And with that, let's go ahead and begin. And we're going to start with the Miami Hurricanes squaring off against the Virginia Tech Hokies. And that's going to be a 12 p.m. Eastern kickoff in Blacksburg. Now, the Hokies are -2 at home. They're favored right now. Total 67.5. We're 3-1 in our last 4 extra daily picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. And if you want to unlock today's extra daily pick on patreon.com/BrockPage, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. We're also 6-3 in our last 9 daily best plays on patreon.com/BrockPage as well. And if you want to unlock the daily best play, that's going to cost you just $1.99. We currently have over 675 members signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And of course, when it comes to this Miami Virginia Tech ball game here, the Hurricanes are plus $1.05 to win this one outright. And once again, they are the road underdogs in this one, the slight road underdogs. Now, the Hurricanes are on a 3-game winning streak, 31 points a game they averaged during that stretch. The Canes are also 6-1 straight up overall for the season, and they rush for nearly 175 yards a game. Running back Cameron Harris is averaging 5 yards a carry, and he's plunged it into the end zone 5 times on the ground. Quarterback De'Aaron King has also rushed for over 400 yards on the season himself, 5 yards a carry he's averaging as well. King's also thrown for over 1,800 yards on the season as well. Certainly turning out to be a very good passer. He's got 16 touchdown passes to just 4 interceptions. Now, Mike Harley's been the big wide receiver for this Hurricane offense. 35 catches, 497 yards, and 4 touchdowns. The Canes have successfully covered the number in 6 out of their last 9 meetings with the Hokies. And speaking of Virginia Tech, they're coming fresh off an embarrassing loss to Liberty University. Now, I know that Liberty is undefeated on the season. I know they're having an historical year this year as a program, but the pool of talent that they have compared to Virginia Tech's roster is really day and night. Make no mistake about it. Virginia Tech has better players. Now, the Hokies gave up 38 points to a Liberty school who was just in the FCS just a couple of years ago. Now, the Hokies have also lost 3 out of their last 5, and that includes losses to UNC and Wake Forest. Now, the Hokies are throwing for less than 190 yards a game. Their top receiver, Trey Turner, is averaging only 49 receiving yards a game and has only 1 receiving touchdown through 7 contests. Now, this Hokie defense is also giving up 32 points a game on the season, along with over 200 yards a game on the ground. The Hokies have failed to cover the point spread in 6 out of their last 9 ball games, and of course, that dates back to last season. Now, total-wise, experts are expecting a lot of points in this one, and I'm no exception. So am I. Virginia Tech saw their last 2 straight get over the posted number, 71% to the over for the entire season. Meanwhile, Miami saw 2 out of their last 3 get over the line themselves, 4-2 to the over in their last 6. We're going to start off the ACC pick video with an underdog here. Give me the underdog Miami Hurricanes +2 and the over 67.5 in that contest. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for College Football Week 11. And of course, this is the ACC edition. But before we dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, just got to quickly remind you once again that we are 3-1 in our last 4 extra daily picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. And if you want to unlock today's extra daily pick, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. We're also 6-3 in our last 9 daily best plays on that site as well. And if you want to unlock today's daily best play, that's only going to cost you just $1.99. Now, we currently have over 675 members signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, Link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And moving on, we are going to take a look at Notre Dame squaring off against, I'm sorry, no we're not. I jumped the gun here real quick. For some reason, it is not on the board, but we're actually going to take a look at Wake Forest squaring off against North Carolina, and that's going to be a 12 p.m. Eastern kickoff at Chapel Hill. Now, the Tar Heels are the 14-point favorite at home, total 66.5. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons are plus 390 for an outright win. Now, Wake Forest is on a 4-game winning streak, coming fresh off a 38-14 victory over Syracuse. No surprise there. They took care of business when they were supposed to. Wake Forest has also beaten the likes of Virginia Tech and Virginia during that stretch as well. And even more impressive, the Demon Deacons are 5-1 against the spread overall for the season, one of the better covering teams in the country. They're averaging 37 points a game and $175 on the ground. Running back Kenneth Walker III has touched it 106 times for 528 yards and 11 big touchdowns. Christian Beal-Smith has also carried it 90 times out of the backfield, 472 yards and 4 scores himself. A little bit of thunder and lightning out of this Wake Forest backfield. And, on the other side of the ball, this Wake Forest defense is also allowing less than 20 yards a game. 200 yards. Wow, that would be really impressive. No, they're allowing less than 200 yards a game passing on the road. They've got 15 takeaways this season, mostly thanks in part to 11 interceptions through just 6 ball games. Defensive back Nick Anderson has a trio of interceptions from this secondary, 2 PBUs, a fumble recovery, and 38 total tackles. Defensive lineman Carlos Basham Jr. also has 5 sacks on the year, 1 forced fumble, and 26 total tackles for the Bashman. Meanwhile, the leader in tackles for this Wake Forest defense is Jaquez Williams, who has 48 total tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. Now, Wake Forest has taken 4 out of their last 6 meetings with the Tar Heels. And speaking of UNC, they've lost 2 out of their last 4, including defeats to the likes of Virginia and Florida State. Oh, that's a bad loss. Now, the defense gave up 75 total combined points in those 2 losses. The Tar Heel defense is also giving up nearly 30 points a game on the season and almost 150 yards a game on the ground. Now, the Tar Heels have also failed to cover the point spread in 3 out of their last 6 ball games. Now, total-wise, UNC's last 3 straight got over the posted number, 5-1 to the over in their last 6. Meanwhile, 3 out of Wake Forest's last 5 contests got over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward yet another underdog in this one. Give me the underdog Wake Forest Demon Deacons plus 14 and the over 66.5 in that contest. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Notre Dame, Boston College, 3:30 p.m. Eastern start time. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame are minus 14 on the road, totals 50 points. The Boston College Eagles are plus $4 for an outright win. BC's won 2 out of their last 3 ball games, 2-1 against the spread in those contests as well. BC's also played very well at home this season, 3-1 straight up at Alumni Stadium, 3-1 against the spread in those contests. The Eagles are scoring 31 points per contest on their home field, and they're throwing for nearly 260 a game in that same category. Quarterback Phil Jurkovec has thrown for nearly 2,100 yards on the season, along with 15 touchdowns. Wide receiver Zay Flowers has 38 catches for 600 yards and 6 touchdowns. Meanwhile, tight end Hunter Long has caught 43 balls for 501 yards and 3 scores himself. Meanwhile, defensively, Boston College is holding their opponents to less than 230 yards a game passing as well. Defensive back John Mean Muse has a pair of interceptions out of the secondary, 22 total tackles on the year for Muse. And speaking of tackles, linebacker Max Richardson has 79 of them on the season, 3.5 sacks and a pass breakup for Max. He's been all over the field this season. And when it comes to rushing the quarterback, defensive end Max Roberts has 4.5 sacks on the year, along with a forced fumble and 16 tackles. Boston College has successfully covered the number in 5 out of their last 6 at home. They've also covered 6 out of their last 8 conference ball games. Now they're taking on a Notre Dame squad who did in fact knock off the number one Clemson Tigers this past week. Very impressive win out of the Fighting Irish. Having said that, though, just keep in mind, they did it while Clemson had their freshman backup quarterback in all game. Trevor Lawrence was out, so they didn't beat the best Clemson squad there was. And it actually took Notre Dame overtime to get the job done. So had to take them to OT. A win's a win, I get it. But the Fighting Irish have failed to cover the point spread in 3 out of their last 5 outings. Now, quarterback Ian Book is also completing just 60% of his passes. He's barely completing 60% of his throws, and he's only thrown for 8 touchdown passes through 7 games. And as a matter of fact, Book's throwing for just 219 yards a game, and his leading wide receiver, Javon McKinley, has yet to receive a touchdown reception on the season. Now, total-wise, the Irish saw 2 out of their last 3 ball games stay under the posted number, throwing out that Clemson game, of course. Meanwhile, Boston College has gone 63% to the under for the entire season. Line them up. Give me another dog. I like the underdog Boston College Eagles, plus 14, and the under 50 points in that ball game. All right, next matchup. It is going to be not on our board, but it's Louisville, Virginia, 3:30 p.m. Eastern kickoff in Charlottesville. The Virginia Cavaliers are the 3-point favorite, total 66 and a hook. The Louisville Cardinals are plus $1.50 for an upset win on the road. Now, Louisville's lost 5 out of their last 6 ball games. They're giving up over 200 yards a game on the ground, really playing some bad football right now. They also failed to cover the point spread in 4 out of their last 6 as well. The Cardinals are winless in 3 tries on the road, just 1 and 2 against the spread in those 3 road losses as well. Louisville's also lost 9 out of their last 11 road games dating back to last season. Now they're taking on a Virginia squad who's coming fresh off a real nice victory over UNC. Solid win there. They put up 44 total points on the Tar Heels in that ball game. Now the Cavaliers have won 2 out of their last 3 at home, and they're covering 67% of their ball games for the entire year. So they've been a very good covering team. This Cavalier offense is averaging 34 points a game at home and nearly 140 yards a game on the ground in Charlottesville. Running back Wayne Talapapa is averaging nearly 5 yards a carry and scored 4 times on the ground. Meanwhile, this Virginia defense has 20 total sacks on the season, along with double-digit takeaways. Safety Brenton Nelson has a pair of interceptions from this secondary, a dozen tackles for Nelson as well. And of course, linebacker Charles Snowden, no relation to Edward Snowden. Anytime I see that name, I always think of Edward Snowden. But anyway, linebacker Charles Edward Snowden has 5 sacks on the season, along with 3 PDs and 40 total tackles. And of course, linebacker Nick Jackson also leads this Cavalier defense in tackles with 64 of them, along with 1.5 sacks and a forced fumble. Now, total-wise, their Louisville counterparts saw 2 out of their last 3 road games stay under the posted number. We're going to finally lean towards some chalk here. Give me the Virginia Cavaliers -3 and the under 66.5 in that ball game. All right, next contest. It is going to be Pitt, Georgia Tech, 7 p.m. Eastern kickoff at Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta. Pitt's -6 on the road, totals 51 and a hook. The Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech are plus 195 on the money line. Now, GT's on a 3-game losing streak. 152 total points they gave up during that stretch. They also failed to cover the point spread in 4 out of their last 6 ball games as well. 44 points a game on average they gave up during that stretch. So Georgia Tech, their defense is really freaking bad. Georgia Tech's just 1-3 straight up at home this season. 45 points per contest they're allowing on their home field. They've also given up 336 yards a game passing at home, along with 221 yards a game on the ground at Bobby Dodd Stadium. Really just totally playing terrible, giving Bobby Dodd a bad name. But anyway, offensively, the Ramblin' Wrecks scoring just 21 points a game, and they average just 1.7 rushing touchdowns per contest on the season. Not so good for a run-heavy offense. Not a great formula. The Yellow Jackets are taking on a Pittsburgh program who put up 41 on Florida State last week, and that was a 24-point victory over the Noles. Pitt's giving up just 23 points per contest and less than 80 yards a game on the ground. Linebacker Servo Dennis, he's got 49 total tackles on the year, 4 sacks as well. Defensive back DeMar Hamlin also has 46 tackles on the season, along with a couple of interceptions and 5 PBUs. Not that those stats will matter all that much, considering Georgia Tech might pass it about 10 times this game, but regardless, those are the facts. And finally, defensive back Paris Ford, he's got 41 tackles on the season, 3 interceptions, and 3 PBUs from the secondary as well. The Panthers have taken 4 out of their last 5 head-to-head meetings with Georgia Tech. Now, total-wise, Pitt's last 5 straight outings got over the posted total. They're also 3-0 to the over on the road. Meanwhile, Georgia Tech saw 5 out of their last 6 get over the line themselves. 3-1 to the over at home this season. Give me the Pitt Panthers -6 and the over 51.5 in that matchup. All right, next and final contest for the show. It is not on our board. Not on our board here. That is really anticlimactic. But anyway, who are we looking at here? Florida State, NC State, 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time. NC State's -10 at home. Total's 59. The Florida State Seminoles are plus 280 for some money line cash. The Noles are on a 2-game losing streak. They lost to Pitt by the final of 41-17 this past week. They also gave up 48 to Louisville the week before that. The Noles have given up 159 total points in their last 4 outings, basically 40 points a game they gave up during that stretch. The Noles are winless on the road this season, just 1-2 against the spread in those 3 road contests. They're giving up over 280 yards a game on the ground when they travel. 8 yards per play they're giving up from the line of scrimmage away from home as well. Meanwhile, offensively, FSU's throwing for less than 200 yards a game when they travel. Just 17 points a game they've averaged in their road contests as well. Florida State's throwing for just 6 let's try that again. Florida State's throwing for just 6 touchdowns in 7 games, along with 11 interceptions and 25 total sacks. Florida State's leading wide receiver, Tamarian Terry, is averaging just 41 yards a game receiving. He's caught just 1 touchdown pass, but keep this in mind, Terry's services will not be available for Saturday night. He left the team or something, so even their best receiver was like, I'm out of here. But anyway, NC State on the other side has successfully covered the point spread in 4 out of their last 5. Marquee covers over the likes of Miami, Duke, Virginia, and Pitt. The Wolfpacks, a perfect 3-0 against the number at home, and they averaged 39 points a game at Carter Finley Stadium. Zonovan Knight is averaging nearly 6 yards a carry, along with 4 rushing TDs. Meanwhile, Ricky Person Jr. is averaging 5 yards a carry himself, along with 3 rushing touchdowns as well. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, as bad as this NC State defense has been, they still amassed 21 sacks on the season, 3 sacks a game. This aggressive pass rush is averaging. Daniel Joseph has 4 sacks on the season, 17 total tackles for Joseph. And linebacker Peyton Wilson has 65 total tackles on the year, 1.5 sacks and 2 interceptions. NC State successfully covered the number in their last 7 straight meetings hosting the Seminoles. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the number in this one, the Wolfpack's last 2 straight got over the posted total. 6-1 to the over so far for the entire season. Lots of overs for these guys. Meanwhile, Florida State's last 2 games got over the line themselves. 5-1 to the over in their last 6. So with all that said and done, give me the NC State Wolfpack -10 and the over 59 in that game. Still find it funny that Florida State's best receiver is no longer a participant on the team. So that's just how bad it's going for the Noles there. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.